Hello there, it's Super Nintendo Day. That's right, SNES, Super Nintendo, Super NES, SNES, whatever you want to call it, you do you. So it's a bit of a follow-up to the Mega Drive video we put out last week. If you haven't seen that, click the link, wherever that is, as it's important to balance out the yin and yang, Koyan is catsy and all that. Before I get started, please consider subscribing to the channel. Go ahead, just click it. And remember, 1 sub equals 10 wishes, and that's a fact. Right, let's go. So in at number 10 is Chrono Trigger. Developed by Square and released in 1995, this sprawling RPG sees you travelling through time to prevent some sort of cataclysmic event which will destroy the Earth. Number 9 is F-Zero. This futuristic racer was a perfect showcase for the system with its Mode 7 graphics and fast, fluid gameplay. So I've put UN Squadron at 8. It's a fun little shooter from Capcom and a departure from their traditionally vertical scrollers like 1942. This one sees you flying left to right in a custom ship with plenty of weaponry at your disposal and offers up some surprisingly deep gameplay as a result. A 7, it's Zelda. You probably think it should be higher. Yeah, it probably should, but it's 7 here. The third game in the series requires little introduction. It's a super fun RPG that's well worth playing even to this day. Super Metroid. Now, the Metroid series hasn't always been at the forefront of Nintendo's output, but fans of the series will no doubt consider this to be among the best. One of the first games to feature an open world with a map so that you could track your progress through its labyrinthian levels. Number 5, it's a Mario Kart. The first in the well-loved franchise pulled off the seemingly impossible at the time with split-screen Mode 7 for simultaneous 2-player. Nintendo created a special chip called the SP1, which was also used in Pilot Wings, to help with some of the more complex 3D maths. This sat inside the game cartridge itself and went on to become the most widely used coprocessor on the SNES. Nerd alert. Right, at 4 is Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting, the first in the series of ridiculously long titled Street Fighter games. Capcom built this version on top of the existing Street Fighter 2 code, so you can think of it as a beefed up World Warrior. Speed adjustable gameplay and the full roster of playable characters made this the best version of the original Street Fighter 2 to play. Right, serious time. Top 3 coming up. Before I do this, just consider subscribing to the channel and liking this video. It really helps small creators like myself find an audience, and you'll probably get a nice, warm, snuggly feeling inside. With that out of the way, here's my top 3. 3. Donkey Kong Country. When Nintendo wanted a game to compete with the excellent Aladdin on the SEGA Mega Drive, they enlisted UK developer Rare to create a platformer based on the little used at the time Donkey Kong franchise. Using state-of-the-art Silicon graphics workstations, Rare created a title that not only looked absolutely gorgeous, but was brilliantly fun to play. At 2, I've got the original Starwing, or Star Fox for anyone not gobbling down copious amounts of beige food. Developed by another British company, Argonaut Software, working closely with Nintendo in Japan. This groundbreaking feat of engineering was the first ever console game to feature 3D acceleration by means of the Super FX chip. Sure, it looks primitive now, but back in 1993 it was like aliens had sent it from the future. Right, so number 1 is not going to be of any surprise to anyone familiar with the Super Nintendo library. Mario is missing. Super Mario World. After the stunning Super Mario Bros. 3 on the NES, Nintendo knew they needed a killer Mario game for the upcoming Super Nintendo, so they reassembled the Super Mario Bros. 3 team, locked them in a room for 18 months, turned up the heat, and out popped this glorious masterpiece. Now, whether you played it on the SNES back in the day or one of the numerous ports and re-releases, this masterclass of platforming action is as playable today as it was more than 30 years ago. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, my top 10 for the Super Nintendo. Don't go just yet, I've got 3 honourable mentions that didn't quite make the list. Alright, sorry, I had to go and get my dinner. Yeah, right, Mega Man X, known as Rockman X in Japan. This was the first in a long line of now 12 games in the Mega Man X spin-off series. Bit of an unusual one, this one, Uni Rally, or I think, uni racers elsewhere in the world. This was crafted by DMA Design, the same Scots that brought us Lemmings and then later Grand Theft Auto. This game saw you race little unicycles around like roller coaster courses, doing tricks and stuff. It was just really good fun. There's something about it. Only a modest 300,000 or so of these games were ever produced, because they're actually sued by Pixar for doing a little animated unicycle. Like, Pixar own the rights to animated unicycles. I guess that's why you don't see games about desk lamps. And finally, Yoshi's Island, or Super Mario World 2. This was a late game to the system and featured unique gameplay mechanics, graphical design, and presentation that was only made possible with the use of a Super FX2 chip. Now, the Super Nintendo has an incredible library of games. It doesn't have blast processing, but what it did have was tons of creativity, all wrapped up in a Nintendo-approved bow. Right, like and subscribe. I'm done.